Hi, my name is Shreya. Hope you are doing well. I am doing amazing. I'm doing fantastic, and I have been very calm lately. I am generally very calm, but lately I have been noticing that I am feeling way calmer than usual. I'm feeling way more grounded than usual. So yes, I am very much grounded, calm, focused, energetic, and doing better than I ever was. Well, today I have decided that I'm going to talk about something which is very important, and I have been reflecting a lot lately regarding which topics to talk about, especially things that I experienced and I learned through suffering or learned through my experiences, and I had no idea, no awareness about those things because there are so many things to talk about, especially in relationships or dating, or when it comes to your inner transformation or self growth and all of that. But then we all are very unique. Our lives are very different. Our life paths are very different. So based on that, I believe we all go through experiences that only we go through and no one else has experienced that. So I have also experienced similar things that I believe only I have experienced, or maybe my learning was through living, through going through that path, rather than seeing someone, as in seeing someone go through that, or listening about it or something like that. So let's go. And I was thinking there was something that bugged me a lot. Okay, because it was, I won't say that it was a new topic or it was a new concept for me, but it was so generic and so broad that I did not really know where to draw the line or how to approach this whole thing until I went through the experience and, let's say, overcame all the obstacles or pain or suffering or hurdles. So I was like, you know what, this is something I really needed to learn, because I believe life kind of gets easier when you have awareness about things, right? So what I mean is, there are things, like, it's not like things don't exist. Okay, so today the topic that I'm going to talk about, it's not that I did not know about all that. I knew about it, but I was not aware about something like that, or let's say I did not have the emotional depth that I gained after going through that experience. And now that I have that awareness, I have realized that now the person I have become, because of that experience, because of that learning, because of that awareness, it has made me stronger, it has made me wiser, it has made me sharper. Well, so today I'm going to talk about, if you are dating someone, let's say you are in a situationship, or you are in a talking stage, or you are at the early stages of dating, or maybe you are in a long term relationship, and the guy you are dating, he has a female best friend. Okay, so this is a very broad term, because trust me, I suffered a lot. I suffered a lot. I can literally write a book on this. It was insane for me. It took me probably an entire year to just grasp the whole concept, and where I was, let's say, where my boundaries were getting violated, or where I was kind of like I was being taken advantage of. I did not have any idea, and it was so new for me to experience this that I did not even have the idea, or let's say I did not have any concept regarding how to approach or how to navigate in such a situation, and it was extremely toxic, it was extremely manipulative, and there were so many mind games, and it was insane. And I hope if you are watching this video will help you to understand. If you are in such a situation, trust me, this video is going to change your life. This video is going to give you insights that you did not know you needed, or you did not even know that you are going through something toxic, and you probably don't have the awareness regarding this. So, I understand that we all can have friends of any gender, any age, anything. So before I go ahead and go deeper and start talking about it, I would like to say that it is not about the gender or the age, it is about the boundary. And I believe that every relationship has a boundary, whether it's romantic, whether it's friendship, whether it's, I don't know, platonic or professional. Every relationship needs to have its own boundaries, because the moment there is no boundary, or maybe the moment that relationship is kind of crossing its boundary, it starts to affect the person, let's say, who has no idea about it, right? So some way or the other, one person always gets affected or involved, or becomes an unwanted part of that whole scenario. So that's why I would like to clarify this before I go ahead. When I was doing my MBA, I was in a talking stage with someone, and at that time, like, it was so new for me, because of course if you are in a talking stage with someone, that person is not your boyfriend yet, and there is no commitment or long-term situation here. But you are trying to get to know each other, you are trying to get to know about each other's lives and compatibility and each other's friends. So I think these things are very common. So this person I was seeing at that time, he was also doing MBA, by the way. We were in the same B school, and we were living inside the campus of that B school. And we all kind of knew each other, because of course we all were living in the same campus. It was like a total boundary. We all were living in this boundary, inside this boundary. So although I did not know everyone personally, but I kind of knew his friends, and he knew my friends, something like that. And I remember in the beginning, every time, so we had subjects also, since we both were doing MBA, we had similar subjects. I don't know, coincidentally, or it was like the universe's way of putting us together in the same room so that I learn my lessons, let's say. But anyway, so we had similar subjects, and I noticed that there were a lot of things which I had no idea about, which kind of seemed very new to me. But I am someone who is always open to newness, and I am always looking at things from different perspectives, and I always have a, let's say, global orientation kind of mindset. So for me, of course, the way I think matters a lot, but when it comes to other people also, I always like to listen to them, listen to their perspective and how they look at things. That matters to me. So I remember when this person and I started dating each other, like seeing each other and all of that, it was very normal, it was very common that we would introduce each other to our friends, right? So he would tell me about his friends, like his female friends, about his male friends. I would also talk about my female friends, my male friends, and it was all normal. But then as things started to unfold with time, I saw there were things where the boundary between friendship and, I don't know, unnamed relationship. I don't know how do you say it, but the friendship was not just confined to friendship. It was I still don't know what to call it, because this is so new to me. And for me, although I would say I categorize it as micro cheating, this is a concept. So for me, I would say that this is almost borderline micro cheating. This is like borderline, I don't know. I don't know. I seriously still don't know what to say it. I still don't have the exact word for this, but everything was very shady. Everything was very much gray. Everything was very confusing and toxic. And I think one of the things that I always felt was how my nervous system would always be in alert mode around his friends, or let's say around some of his friends. Especially, he had this female friend. He would say that she was his best friend, right? And for me, I don't really understand this whole concept of best friend, especially if you are in your 20s or late 20s or in your 30s. Because when you are in school, or even when you are in college, this concept still makes sense. Because fine, I mean, okay, you are young, you are a kid, or you are a teenager, you are like in college, you are just like entering your 20s, so it makes sense at that time. But once you are in your 20s, I believe life happens, right? Life happens, and by that, what I mean is, you are no longer just studying and getting good grades. In your 20s, you are going through all sorts of things, right? You have your ambition, your career, and then you are going through relationship issues, and then you have your own inner transformation, your own journey, and then your social circle like friendship and whatnot. So everything suddenly becomes important, and then you kind of try to balance out everything, and you are in the middle of so many things suddenly, right? So it's natural that automatically you kind of shade all of these layers of your teenage years, or all these shades of college time, because it's natural, right? You don't have suddenly 500 friends, or you are not watching sports, like, or maybe some series, or you for 5 hours, or you are not sleeping for 12 hours in a day, because suddenly there are so many things to do, so many commitments to fulfill, that you feel like you went to sleep and you woke up as an adult. And uh, and so for me, this whole concept of having a best friend is just so, I don't really understand it. And this is not just with having a best friend. When it comes to, like, if you are a guy, like, let's say if you are dating a guy, I'm not saying that he cannot have a female best friend but he can have a male best friend. No, what I'm saying is, this whole concept of having a best friend is just so, I don't know, it's just such childish concept once you are in your 20s or in your 30s to begin with, because everyone has their lives. So everyone is doing something, everyone has their priorities straight. But but still, I am fine with other people kind of living their life in whichever the way they want. So I don't really care about if someone has a best friend or not. But generally, in my case, I don't really understand this whole concept, and I don't really agree with it. And so when this guy told me that he has a female best friend, and they also met, it's not like they met in school or something. So this girl was also doing MBA with us, and apparently they became friends since day one of their MBA or something like that. And they are very close, and they do all the projects together, and they always take care of each other. So all of these things, I was like, okay, fine. I mean, okay, you have a best friend, that's all right. I don't really care, it's all right. So I did not really say anything. But and then later, uh, and then later, at different instances, whenever I would meet her with other friends of the guy I was dating, I would always feel something was off. Okay. And someone like me, I am a very, very intuitive person. Okay. For me, sensing energy is like, it's like the most important thing. Okay. So if I know that someone's energy is off, I don't care if that person is showering me with compliments, or that person is telling me all the good things, or that person is trying to be nice or kind or whatever. I know that it is all a lie. I know that this person is being pretentious, because of course energy never lies. Okay. If someone's energy is making me feel that his or her intention is not right, then I am totally out of that picture, I'm out of that situation instantly, no second chances, nothing. So for me, I knew that, something was off, but I was not sure whether it was only, or like whether I was feeling it because of this girl, or it was like the whole situation. Because every time I would meet this girl, everyone would be there. So the guy I was dating, he would be there, and all of his friends would be there, and this girl is also one of them. And although all of his friends were were like totally toxic, and they all had bad energies, which is, by the way, one of the most important indicators to know whether you are with the right person or not. But at that time I did not know. So I was like, okay, I was just tolerating, and I was just keeping my mouth shut. But generally, I have read it somewhere, and now that I have experienced it, so if you are dating a guy, and if you don't like his friends, then that guy is not the right for you, because at the end of the day, you are the average of 5 people you hang out with. So of course, if you don't like his friends, guess what? He is also one of them. Maybe you don't know it yet, but in the end, eventually you will know. So it's better to leave early from a toxic situation than staying stuck and suffering for eternity, right? So with this girl, I would always feel like my nervous system is kind of getting anxious. I would feel unsafe, and I would feel threatened. And uh, and and I think, and it is not just with her. Okay, so this whole situation was so complicated, and so many dynamics were going on. I mean, seriously, I can literally write a book, and I'm trying to not say all the things in this video, because if I do that, then this video will go on for like 15 hours or something. I don't know. But but yes, this was insane. So there were so many dynamics going on. It was not just the guy I was dating, only he had something shady going on with this girl who is apparently his best friend. The other friends, the other people in that group, they also had very shady, very like overlapping boundaries with their best friends or with other members in that group. And so anyway, it was just very, very confusing for me. And so there was not a single incident where I felt like that, what, this is enough and I need to get out of it. It was like, you can say, an amalgamation of so many small incidents, or so many different incidents, that made me feel like I was literally a doormat. Okay, I was made to feel like a doormat. And to be honest, when I look back at it, I always say that for me, it is never about the other person. For me, it is always about me, okay? I am like, for me, even if someone has done something wrong to me, I do not look at it from a victim mindset. I do not look at it as that, oh, this person has done this thing to me and I'm such a victim and I'm going to cry for the rest of my life. No, for me it is always about what did I miss, what could have I done right, or what did I learn. I think this is the most important thing I always ask myself is what I have learned from this, okay, so that I do not repeat it again, right? Because as a human being, you are always going to make mistakes, and that is 100,000% normal and natural. But you should not make the same mistake twice, because guess what, the moment you are going to repeat the same mistake again and again, the universe is going to give you the same situation again and again, and then you are stuck in this loop where you are making the same mistake again and again, and then you are not learning anything, and you are experiencing same situation again and again. And I have done this so much. So I am always very much let's say I am always very much careful about not repeating the same mistake, because I have wasted years and years of my life making the same mistake, going through that same loop, staying stuck in the same loop. So please do not make the same mistake twice. If you have made any mistake, first of all, don't even look at it like a mistake, look at it like a learning opportunity. So if you have experienced any learning opportunity, then always ask yourself, what did you miss and what have you learned from it, and keep note of that, okay? Tattoo it in your brain, tattoo it in your heart, in your mind, everywhere, that you have learned these lessons, and now you are not going to like violate your own boundaries. Now you are not going to dilute your own standards, or now you are not going to shrink yourself so that someone else feels comfortable, right? So yes, so this guy I was dating, he and this girl, I think one of the things I have noticed was every time we all would be sitting together, and as we all were doing MBA, it was very normal for all of us to go to the area canteen where you eat your breakfast, lunch, dinner, all the meals, and we'd be sitting together. And generally, of course, like generally, if you are dating someone, you should be sitting next to that person, right? But in my case, although this guy and I, we were dating each other, and like we were interested in each other, this guy would not sit next to me. And even if he would sit next to me, he would bring that girl, his best friend, next to him, okay? So either this guy would be sitting opposite of me and this girl is sitting beside him, or he is sitting beside me, but then this girl is like sitting next to him. And it was very bizarre. And then not just that, they will always share their meals together. So so they are like always eating from each other's plates and like feeding each other, and at times they would even use one plate for both of them, okay? So I know that in friendship this is very normal, right? Friends do it, and I also thought so, okay, that yeah, okay, this is normal, friends do that, people like your close friends can eat from your plate, and sharing food is normal, it's a way of bonding, it's normal. But then it cannot be with only one person, right? It cannot be with only one person. It's not like you have only one good friend, right? No, it should be with everybody, with all of your close friends. But with this guy and with this girl, I noticed that they would do this to only one another. And even when I am literally sitting there, so I am the date there, and he never like even tried to feed me anything, or he never tried to even take anything from my plate. But with this girl, he would literally do things which is like borderline PDA, you can say, that you would do if you are out on a date and you are sitting in a fancy restaurant and you are like feeding your girlfriend, or your boyfriend is feeding you, something like that, I swear. And and moreover, it is not just that. I think more importantly, most of the times this guy would not even tell me that he is out with this girl and they are eating together. And so this guy would be, so let's say throughout the day we would have different classes, right? There are classes where he would be there with me, but then I would have different subjects and he would have different subjects. So my schedule would be at times different than his schedule or that girl's schedule. And it is not possible to know always who is doing what and all of that. Of course, when you are doing an MBA, your life is insanely busy. MBA is insanely crazy, insanely hectic. So so I won't know what this guy is doing when I am studying in class, or I'm working on a project, or I'm in my hostel room, I'm in my dorm room. Then later I would get to know from other people, not even from him, that this guy is out with this girl and like they are taking walks, or maybe they are having lunch together sitting in some corner, or maybe they are having dinner together, and or maybe they are like having tea together at some tea stall or something like that. So there is always something, and it's like, and it is not that it only happened once or twice, it's like every single day, okay, literally every single day I would see them together, or someone like from our batch, because of course we all were living in the campus, so everyone knew about everybody, it was all out in the open. So someone would come up to me and tell me that do you know this guy you are dating? I saw him with this girl, his best friend, and they were like walking together in this place and everything. So it was like, it was literally, I swear to God, it was literally dating, but then you don't name it. It's like, tell me it is dating without calling it a dating, right? So it was that, and after a point, and I remember like, and not just that. So this is part one, okay, this is part one. What is worse is, now I'm coming to the worst point. After a point I had to talk about it, right? Because I am someone who is very, very clear when it comes to my emotions. I do not like playing games or hiding behind the bush, or playing all these manipulative games, or trying to be all nonchalant and everything. And no, I'm like, you know what, if something is bugging me and it is persistent, then I'm going to talk about it like an adult, because I am an adult. I'm not some 10-year-old girl who is studying in school. No, I am in my late 20s. So, of course, I am going to talk about it like an adult. And so, when I told him that you know, these things have been going on for a while now, I have been noticing, and I am not liking it. Okay, I am not liking it. So could you please like tell me what's going on? And so of course this is how you have a discussion with the person you are dating, right? So this guy, he, first of all, he like literally like almost yelled at me. It was like, I don't even know how loud his voice was, because we were having this conversation over call, and we have had multiple conversations regarding this, so I don't remember all the conversations, because I had, oh my god, I had so many conversations on this topic with him, that after a point I was like, did I talk about this thing? Did I talk about that thing? Did we have this conversation? I lost track. But there were times when he misbehaved with me so badly that I still remember it. Just imagine. Uh, this guy, he yelled at me very badly, and then he said that I'm not quoting him, I don't remember his exact words, but it was more like why are you overreacting, and you are an insecure person, I don't understand, and you are trying to break my friendship with my best friend, and you are the third party here, I cannot believe this. So he was being like really really stereotypical and sexist, like, you know, where this concept that oh yeah, this guy, like, you are this kind and I don't know, like, perfect guy, and then this evil woman enters who you know, sabotages your life, and who breaks your friendship, and who separates you from your family. So he was trying to villainize me, right? He was trying to portray me as the villain of the story, and he was like, it was all my fault, that instead of accepting what was going on, like a, I don't know, like a cow or something, I don't know, like some animal, he he was surprised that I was questioning all of these things and I was not okay with it, and he was like, how can you be like this? And I think one of the things that he said, which I think I'm going to remember forever, because it was not about him, it is about me, and it taught me a lot about my self-worth, because I did not know that this is where I needed to work, and I did the work after this whole incident. And I remember he said that I am never going to treat you any different, or I'm never going to treat you way better than her, because you and her are same to me. I am not going to treat her badly because of you. I'm not going to treat you way better than her. Something like that, something like that he said. So he won't treat, it's not about treating bad, it's like he would always keep both of us on the same level. Although I am the date here and she's the best friend here, we both apparently carry same value, carry same importance, and regardless whatever dynamic was going on, he would not change his behavior towards her because I have some problem with this dynamic, and he would not also treat me better because I'm asking him to do so. So it was insane, because I had to sit on this whole thing for a long time to grasp this whole concept, to understand how low my position was in his life, and even in my wildest dreams I could not imagine that someone could treat me this way, right? Because for me, I'm someone who always treat people the way I want to be treated. So I am a very generous, very kind, very full of love and full of integrity, principled kind of a person. For me, it is always about treating someone with respect, with love, with kindness, with compassion, empathy, and all of that. So I was very shocked to hear such a thing, and every, so yeah, this was there, and then there was another time I remember, we were kind of just talking. It was like around, it was late in the evening, and we were talking, and he was getting a lot of calls from this girl. Okay, so and for me, like, if I am with someone, I don't care if that person is my friend, my boyfriend, or I don't know, I work with, and that person is getting a lot of calls. First of all, unless it is important, I believe that it is your manner, it falls under manners, that you should not pick up that call. Okay, maybe you should say that, hey, like, in front of that person, that, hey, I am out with this person or out with someone, can I call you back? You can do that, but I but I don't think you should pick up that call and then you should engage in conversation for hours, or maybe you are getting 15 calls and you are just picking up every time, right? Because it is disrespectful to the person who is sitting in front of you, right? So if I do the same thing to you, if I'm sitting with a guy and if I get 10 calls in 5 minutes and I pick up every call, how would that look like, right? It would be very, very disrespectful to the person who is sitting in front of me. It doesn't matter whether this person is my date, my friend, I work with, or even someone I'm meeting for the first time. This is a basic manner. And he was getting a lot of calls. So after a point, and he was picking up all of those calls. So after a point, I had to ask him, why are you getting so many calls? What happened? Because my first instinct was, is everything all right? Is someone is in danger? Like, I have like this, my awareness was so high. And he said that no, it's my best friend and she's calling me. So they had some party late at night, and they decided that they would all drink, as in all the friends, all of his friends, they would drink and they would party, they would dance the night out and all of these things. So they were calling him. So she was calling him and asking him where he was. And by the way, just so you know, I was definitely not invited to that party. So of course I had no idea, but I did not even raise the question, because even if I was invited, I'm pretty sure I would not have attended. I would have gone back to my room and I would have just fallen asleep, because sleep is the most important thing to me. So rather than this lame excuse, whatever they were doing. But yeah, so she was calling him to know where he was and when he would be joining the party, and yeah, so, and I did not say anything. And then this guy said that don't worry, I won't be attending this party and I will just go back to my room and I will sleep, and I don't care about all of these things, don't worry. And I did not even say anything, but he was trying to gaslight me as if I was losing my mind over him going to a party, him going to that party. Although I was, but I did not say it. I was trying to be like, you know what, I'm just done with this whole thing. I'm not even going to say anything. So I did not say anything, and he told me that he won't be attending the party. He would be going back to his room and he would go and sleep, whatever. But later I got to know that he did attend the party, and he did spend a lot of time with his friends, including that girl, and they all were drunk. And I still have no idea what happened there in that room with all of his friends, with that girl present, with all of the entire night. And I got to know this from him only, but not the next day. I got to know this way later, when there was some other conversation and this thing came up contextually, and I think it slipped out his tongue, and he mentioned that he attended the party. Yes, I remember he was telling me about something happened that night between his another friend, like between two of his other close friends, and I already mentioned that that entire group was so shady and no one had any boundaries. So he was telling me that one of his guy friends and some other girl, they were doing something in that party, although that guy already was in a relationship with some other girl and he was in a long distance relationship. So he was telling me that he was basically kind of like gossiping about his own friends, and he was telling me that how, like, he was telling me that his friends were doing all of these things, and he was basically having fun while saying all of these things. For him it was not at all surprising or even bad or something like that. He was totally enjoying this whole thing. And I remember I was like, how do you know what happened there at, like, between them? Because to know something you have to be present, right, to know what happened at that party. And he said that, oh no, I did go to that party, I was there, I saw them, and something like that. So this is how I got to know that he literally lied to me, lied on my face, that he would not be attending the party. Just imagine. So and I still have no idea what happened there, what happened in that party, and I have literally no interest anyway. So, and so there were so many incidents. Okay, I just gave you one or two examples of all the things I went through, but there were so many incidents. There was another time when we were I don't exactly remember which celebration it was, whether it was 31st or 25th. I think it was 31st. Yeah, it was the year-end party, and we were all my hair. Yeah, and we were so there was a huge celebration and our entire campus was decorated, and of course it was a 31st night, and it was the year-end party. Everyone was going to attend. Guess what? This guy told me that he won't be attending that party, and he told me that, hey, I'm not going to attend it, so you also don't need to attend it. And I thought, yeah, okay, that's all right, fine, because we also had exam the next morning, I remember. So on 1st January we had 2 exams. So I was like, you know what, fine, I'll just stay in my room, I'll go to sleep early, I'll wake up next morning and I'll study. It's better, it's fine. And so I had no idea, and then later I got to know from someone else that this guy was dancing with his friends, and of course this girl was there. And then I felt so bad, and I remember I there was this girl who is a very close friend of mine. She is still a very close friend of mine. She told me, she said something like, why are you wasting your night for this guy? I mean, he's clearly enjoying his night, he's having a blast, he's dancing, probably drunk, whatever. Why are you wasting your night? Just, and I'm like, you know what, I cannot get ready because it was already so late. So I was like, oh, my evening is already wasted. I spent the entire day in my room, in my loungewear. I cannot get ready now, it will take a lot of time. And she said, just wear whatever is there and go downstairs, go to the party, have fun. Trust me, otherwise you are going to regret that you did not enjoy tonight. So I was like, you know what, fine, I will just wear whatever I can as soon as possible and I'll go. So I wore a dress that was just lying there in front of me, and I wore this dress. I did some basic makeup. My hair was just totally unkempt. I was fine with that because, of course, messy hair, right? I always look good. This is like my affirmation, right? I always look so good. Yeah, I think this is a song. Yeah, anyway, so I went downstairs, and this guy was like totally, he was just, I don't know, just falling on everyone, and he was doing all sorts of things with his friends, including that girl. And then he said, oh yeah, I did not want to come, but then my friends kind of forced me. So I was like, oh, you are looking so beautiful, so pretty. And so he tried to change the topic, but regardless whatever was going on, that night was an eye opener for me. And I'm like, you know what, I'm done. I'm done. This is too much. I cannot endure this much disrespect. First of all, I should not endure any disrespect, but at that time I was still learning to choose myself. So I was like, you know what, I have suffered a lot, I have tolerated a lot. Now it's time for me to just stop this. Okay, to just stop this. And there were so many instances. Okay, as I mentioned, that if I start to talk about all of those incidents, then this video is going to be probably 10 hours long. But those incidents are not important here. I am making this video because what happened is not important. What I have learned from those incidents is more important. And that's why I decided that, you know what, I know that there might be someone around the globe who is also probably going through something like this. And that girl, that woman, is probably thinking that, like, she is probably going through this dilemma what to do, or whether to say anything, or whether to draw any boundary. Because I was going through that similar situation. I was going through those questions a year back. I was going through that same phase a year back. And as I always say, that not every lesson has to be learned through experience or through living, or by going through that experience, right? You can learn something from other people, right? Not every experience has to come from pain or suffering or trauma or heartbreak, or and all of these things, all of these experiences, they have taught me that no, after a point, first of all, when it comes to dating, if your boyfriend, if your date, whatever, whether you are in a long-term relationship, whether you are in a talking stage, whether you are in the early stages of dating, whatever it was, if that guy has a female best friend and he is more consistent with that girl in terms of texting or calling or being with that person way more than he is with you, then trust me, he is not the one for you. Nobody has this much time to spend with their best friend, okay? Nobody. Because after a point, when you are done with school, when you are done with college, when you are a full-fledged adult, especially in your 20s, in your 30s, you hardly have time to talk to your parents. You hardly have time to sleep. You hardly get time to sleep for 8 hours. You hardly have time to work on your own passion outside your work or outside your studies or outside your commitments, right? So you anyway struggle to deal with all of those things. Nobody, I swear to God, no one has that time, this much time, to talk to their best friend every single day, to meet their best friend every single day. Even guys, like, even if that guy has a guy best friend, trust me, no, like, even if he's doing similar things with his guy best friend, that is also wrong. But that is a different conversation, and this video is not about that. This video is about having the female best friend part. So I believe only in dating, it's, of course, it's normal, it's natural to be consistent, to be steady, but otherwise it is impossible for anybody. Nobody has this much time to constantly text their best friend, or to constantly meet or talk over call or do all of these borderline PDA things, okay? Nobody does that in the name of friendship. I have had friends, in fact, I have so many guy friends. I went to co-ed school, my college was co-ed, so I have guy friends. I have more guy friends than female friends, but not a single friend of mine, no matter how many years has it been since we became friends, they ever tried to cross the line, okay? Not even for once they even thought of crossing that line, because they know how strict I am when it comes to my boundaries, and they are also like that. It is a two-way relationship. It's a two-way friendship, right? They also do not try to cross any boundary with me. I also do not try to cross any boundary with them. It's very respectful, very mutual, very understanding, and very kind and very ethical, full of integrity, okay? They treat me like I am their family, and I treat them like they are my family, and no matter how much, like, and it is, and even if I don't talk to them for, let's say, 3 months, 5 months, they would not even say a thing, because they know that I am busy in my life. I am working, I am doing other things, I'm taking care of myself, there are so many things to do. And that's the same thing with them, right? If I don't text them, or if they don't text me, I know that they are literally busy. They are working, they are probably studying, they have probably moved to a different country, they have probably changed their jobs, or they are probably doing something entirely new, or maybe they had learned a new skill or something like that, right? So and even if we start talking after 3 months, it feels like we resumed from where we left off, because this is how your friendship should be. This is how adult friendships are. No one has this much time to talk to their friends 24/7 and get updates from them, or give them updates, or do all of these borderline PDA nonsense. If you are in a situation like this, or if you are going through something like this, I would like to tell you that please get out of this situation. It is never too late to choose yourself, to pick yourself, to treat yourself better, to take care of yourself, okay? I do not care how long has it been for you where you have been treated badly, but it can always end the moment you decide it is the end, right? So there are lines that I believe no matter what one should not cross, and this is one of those lines in relationships, in dating. And if someone makes you feel like you need to compete with someone else to be in that man's life, if a guy makes you feel that you need to prove yourself, you need to compete, or you need to be okay with something you definitely know you are not okay with, then I believe that it is already your answer. You already know the answer that this guy is not right for you, okay? Because the right man, the person who is your soulmate, I swear to God, I can literally give you in writing, he will do whatever it takes to be with you, okay? Trust me. And I'm not saying this in an extreme way or in an obsessive way. No, it is not that. What I mean by that is he will make you feel the most special, the queen, the princess, the sovereign in every way possible. Because that's how men behave when they are in love. That's how healthy men behave when they are in love. That's how you deserve to be treated, okay? That's how your person, the right person, your soulmate, is going to behave, because it is the only way. There is no negotiation, there is no conversation regarding this, there is no any other way. This is the only way. You are the queen, you are the love of his life, you are the umami, you are the only one, the pink diamond, the moon. You really think the person who is in love with you is going to tell you like yeah, I am like you and my best friend, some best friend that I have like gray boundaries with are same? You really think your person is going to lie on your face? You really think your guy, the person who is right for you, the man who is right for you, is going to touch other women? Because this guy, the guy I was dating, he would be touching his best friend in the name of friendship. And like this is another conversation. I definitely don't want to get into the details because then this video would go really, really long. But I don't care how long you are friends with someone, you cannot touch a woman unless she's your girlfriend, right? Only when you are dating someone, I believe this physical touching part, like small, cute physical touches, those things are acceptable because they are cute. But otherwise, I definitely do not think that this is respectful for you as a man or for the girl to do that. But if two people are doing this, then you already have the answer. So if you are with a guy, if he's being all touchy with some other girl, you already have your answer, how this guy is, how this girl is, and what their dynamic is. It is as I already mentioned, it is never too late to choose yourself, to pick yourself, because you have to understand you might be going through pain right now, but you have your entire life. And trust me, life is long, okay? Life is long. No matter how much we think we are always in hurry and we have this urgency, life is long. And life goes on and on, okay? Life goes on and on. So you have to ask yourself, do you really want to be with someone who treats you like a doormat, who treats you like an option, who treats you like, I don't know, you are some garbage or like some object? Do you really want to be with someone like this for the rest of your life? Or do you want to hold yourself with the highest regard and have faith in yourself and in the universe and wait for the right person? You decide. You decide. Because I do not care how much pain you are going through, okay? We all go through pain, okay? We all go through pain. Maybe some people go through way more pain than other people, but we all go through pain more or less. But at some point, you have to stop looking at your wound, stop looking at your pain, and move on. At some point, you have to get out of this victim mindset and you have to treat yourself as the king, okay? As the king. Like I always tell myself that I am the king, okay? I literally tell myself this thing all the time, that I am the king. Everybody else in my life is like serving me, but not in a bad way, but in like it's providing value in my life, right? So unless some guy is expanding my life by his existence, providing value by his existence, I do not need that person in my life. I don't. Because my life is already amazing. My life is already amazing. Whatever I am going through, I am either having great memories or I am learning lessons. So, unless you are here to broaden my perspective, to expand my life, to make me feel more of myself, I have no space for you. Because I'm the king, right? The king does not shrink for anybody. The king does not make herself small just because some random lame guy wants her to be. The king stays in her power. The king stays in her sovereignty. The king stays in her center, in her essence. And everybody else in her life comes to provide value, to expand her life, to make her feel more of herself. And for me, I am that person. I think of myself that way, and when it comes to dating, I look at it that way. And this is something I have learned by, you can say that, by sacrificing my 20s, okay, by sacrificing an entire decade, by going through an entire decade of pain and suffering and trauma and God knows what else, abuse and so many manipulation, gaslighting, and so many other things. But you do not have to learn these lessons. You do not have to wait for some incident to happen to pick yourself, to choose yourself, to finally look at yourself as who you are. And you are the most precious diamond in the entire universe. Trust me, you are the most precious, most exclusive, most premium luxury brand on the planet. So unless someone treats you like that, unless someone treats you like, even if you're blinking, like if you blink like this, like even that is a big deal for that person, unless someone makes you feel that way, I am telling you, please, please get out of these breadcrumbs, of these toxic situationships, of this manipulation. I don't care if your relationship is 10-year-old or you just met this guy last night, you can always get out. You can always choose yourself. You can always pick yourself. You can always learn to respect yourself. Because this is a lifetime process. It is not that one fine morning you wake up and then you are like, I'm all confident, I'm all full of self-love, and I am all powerful. No. You take small steps even when you are having doubts. You choose yourself even when you are in fear. You choose yourself even when you are uncertain. You choose yourself even when you feel undeserved. You choose yourself, let's say, even when you hate yourself. choose yourself nevertheless. I don't care, I don't care, I don't care how worse your situation is. Choose yourself. I promise you, I promise you, the moment you choose yourself and you keep choosing yourself, as I said, that this is a lifetime process, it's a lifestyle. Every single day you choose yourself. It's not that you do it for once and then you are done. No, you keep doing it. As you keep doing it, I swear to God, right people, right situations, right circumstances, right opportunities, everything come to you. Everything. That is literally law of attraction. You automatically attract everything right in your life. All the right people in your life. So of course, if you are choosing yourself, guess what? Your soulmate is going to find you and choose you. That is the nature of LOA. That is the nature of law of attraction. If you are still watching this video, I would like to say that thank you very much for watching till the end and listening to all my words, because every video I make, in every video I always try to talk about things that I experienced or I have learned the hardest way or one of the hardest ways. And I truly believe that you do not have to learn everything through the hardest path, right? Because the universe did not tell anybody that you have to learn things only by suffering and pain. No. The universe wants you to be in joy, to be in love, to be in happiness, to be in peace, to be in safety, luxury. So why not? Why not you do that? And I genuinely try doing that by making these videos where I always, like, whenever I'm talking about things from my personal life, I believe that maybe I am the vessel. Maybe I am the vessel through which the universe wants me to help whoever is watching this video. Because when I was going through those experiences, I was looking for someone to help me, to hold me, and to tell me the things that I tell myself now, or all the things that I say in these videos. And this is also one of the ways I am serving my inner child. I am serving and telling my inner child that it is all right, she's going to be okay, even when she thinks she won't, because I am okay. I am doing okay now. So whatever she is going through, whatever she had to endure, it is totally all right. She's going to be okay, because that young Shreya had to endure all of those things. So this Shreya could be who she is now. And so for me, it is all about trying to help a friend, trying to help my younger self. So whoever you are and you are watching this video, I would like to say that I am your best friend, I am your close friend, I am always there for you. Please always pick yourself, please always choose yourself, regardless whatever you are going through. Because in the end, you are the king in your story, okay? You are the king. Never forget that, okay? And with this, I end this video. Thank you for watching this video. See you in my next video. Bye bye.